Hello, so there's been lots of news recently regarding Battlefield 4, so I thought I would make a little show and put it all together. So this is going to cover the last couple of weeks, so things you might have missed, announcements from EA, announcements from DICE, various little things people have found, bugs, problems, basically anything to do with Battlefield 4. I guess one of the biggest news stories has been the announcement EA made last week about Battlefield 4 and its future development. So EA have taken a hit in their share price. They lost over 8% in one morning's trading because of the bad publicity that Battlefield 4's launch has been getting. They're also being investigated by a law firm about whether they overstated Battlefield 4's launch condition and therefore boosted their sale price. So EA came out with this statement on Battlefield 4 and its future, and it's essentially said that DICE will no longer be working on anything other than fixing Battlefield 4's issues. Now you can take this with a slight pinch of salt because not all the staff at DICE are going to be working on Battlefield 4. Why would you have the art team or the sound team working on Battlefield 4's technical problems? So this is a move by EA to try and bolster its image concerning Battlefield 4, putting the onus onto DICE to fix it and giving them the resources and time that they need to do it. It does mean that several other projects have been sidelined. We know that DICE is working on Star Wars Battlefront and the sequel to Mirror's Edge, both of which are going to be delayed by the issues with Battlefield 4. With EA moving the attention away from themselves and onto DICE for Battlefield 4's problems, which in a way is fair because Battlefield 3 wasn't exactly a problem-free launch for DICE, we can now see that maybe DICE is struggling with trying to develop Battlefield 4 on what is essentially 5 platforms. They have the Xbox, they have the PlayStation 3, they have the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, and they've got the PC to develop on. And then they're doing strange little Android apps for the Commander. So they do have a lot of work to do. Now DICE have been patching the game fairly recently. We've had 2 patches in the last couple of weeks and they've solved quite a few problems. They've also launched their issue tracker, which shows a list of what they call the top issues. Let's have a look at the problems that affect the PC, as that's the platform I use and have knowledge of. EMP blur effect, that's been fixed, thank God. One hit kill bug, that's been fixed, thank God. Game mode ribbons are counted twice. Don't know what this problem is, but it might be the reason why sometimes you level up at the end of one level but only actually really level up when you earn more experience during the next level. 4-time damage from miniguns. So if you were using the defensive perk, you took a ton of damage from miniguns from choppers and attack boats. Players sometimes get stuck in kill cam after the revive. That's a problem I've had and it's been on one of my videos. Bug accounting for a majority of crashes on the PC. So anything that stops the game crashing will be brilliant. I still get dropped from servers because the client crashes and I still get the classic Battlefield 4 has stopped working error. Players sometimes become spectators while still alive in defuse mode. Never had that, but I have had something similar in Conquest where I died and stayed a spectator. Players sometimes get stuck in the revive screen. That's probably the issue that I've had. Desynchronized game where objects have different states for different players. Now I've seen something similar to this with doors. A door that is open to someone else is closed to me, or a door that looks open but when you throw something at it, it bounces off it. Squad spawn sometimes positions you under the terrain. Don't think I've ever had that one. Hit markers and crosshairs sometimes disappear. That's an issue I've had and is in one of my recent videos in fact. Rubber banding issues for some players with solid internet connections. Now this is a problem I've had quite a bit and really hate. I have a 30 megabyte internet connection with a really fast ping. I only ever go on servers that have like 15 and I still get people rubber banding around. Some instances of no hit effects and no damage. That's also in one of my recent videos. Damage received is sometimes delayed by a few frames. A few frames? I've had it where it's delayed by a couple of seconds. So yeah, that's more than a few. Server browser filters are not fully functioning. Now I've always hated this. Ever since they put it into web browsers, the server search has been awful. It doesn't consistently show you servers that you know are up and running. It doesn't search properly. You'll get search criteria just disappearing. It's just awful and always has been. It was terrible in Battlefield 3 and it's still terrible in Battlefield 4. Sudden frame rate drops during certain in-game events. That's Levolution. If you've ever been on Siege of Shanghai and the towers dropped, originally half the players on the server would crash out. Now it just seems to tank it down to about 10 frames per second. The sound loop crash. I have no idea what that is, I've never had it. So that is quite a sizable problem list, and that's not every problem that the game has. A lot of them are hidden away, fix game crashes is kind of vague because there's several different things that make the game crash. One of which is running another piece of software while the game's running. I've discovered that if I start Battlefield 4 and then start Fraps, Fraps will kill Battlefield 4. But if I run Fraps and then run Battlefield 4, it works fine. News programs always have a light-hearted story at the end, and we don't have a skateboarding dog. But what we do have is Dinosaur News! So there are several Easter eggs, little pointers and setups relating to dinosaurs in Battlefield 4. This one on screen is the goat from Jurassic Park penned out waiting to be eaten. But several DICE employees have hinted at bigger Easter eggs, and one of them has been found. So that's the sound of a T-Rex crashing through the trees, and if you want to know how to activate it, where it is and what it does, then I recommend you look at the Jack Frags video I posted here, and I'll link it down below. So there are reports of at least one more major Easter egg, and people seem convinced it's a Megalodon on Parcel Storm. And that's the end of Dinosaur News! And that's the end of Battlefield 4 News. So you'll notice that the episode is made up of still images rather than videos, and that's to avoid any issues with YouTube's content strike. I've also avoided anything that was Battlefield 4 gameplay. This has been a bit of a pain to knot together, but I hope it's been useful, and thanks for watching.